Is tarot deck of cards more than a game, or does it go beyond simple fortune telling? People have always been captivated by tarot cards because of their esoteric associations, symbolism, and mystique. Tarot decks, which were first created as playing cards in the 15th century, have since developed into effective instruments for esoteric research and prediction. These days, they are frequently connected to spiritual understanding, introspection, and fortune telling. Tarot has a strong occult relationship to alchemy, astrology, Kabbalah, and mysticism, which makes it important in a variety of esoteric traditions. During the Renaissance, the tarot deck first appeared in Europe, especially in France and Italy. They were initially used as playing cards in a game known as tarocchi. However, tarot decks were associated with psychic and mystical traditions by the 18th century. The esoteric use of tarot cards was greatly influenced by the magician Antoine Coeur de Gebelin's belief that they contained secret wisdom. According to Antoine Coeur de Gebelin, tarot cards were first used in ancient Egypt. The first professional tarot reader was a French occultist named Jean-Baptiste Alliette, who went by the pseudonym Eteia. Alliette, who was born in Paris in 1738, began his professional life as a seed seller before exploring the mysteries of cartomancy. He released his first novel, Eteia, in 1770. Alliette was drawn to the tarot's divinatory abilities after being influenced by modern occultists. He published How to Entertain Yourself with the Deck of Cards Called Tarots in 1783, the first recorded work devoted to tarot divination, in response to ideas that tarot was associated with ancient Egyptian wisdom. By creating one of the first tarot decks intended only for occult purposes, which included astrological correspondences and other symbolic aspects, he furthered the esoteric evolution of tarot. Eteia's work established the groundwork for contemporary tarot. Despite a lack of historical evidence, their beliefs firmly linked tarot to esoteric wisdom. Pamela Colman Smith, working with Arthur Edward Waite, produced the modern tarot in 1909. Tarot's connection to the occult is deeply rooted in its symbolism. The 19th century Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn incorporated tarot into their mystical practices, linking the cards to astrology, Kabbalah, and alchemy. The major arcana, in particular, represents a spiritual journey, one that aligns with various esoteric traditions. Tarot became more than a deck. It became a tool for introspection, divination, and occult study. Historical portraits of Samuel Weller Singer, the Knights Templar, and Mrs. John King van Rensselaer. Various scholars and historians have debated the true origins of tarot. Samuel Weller Singer suggested that tarot evolved from an ancient form of symbolic storytelling, while some believe that the Knights Templar, a medieval military order, played a role in preserving the esoteric meanings of the cards. Meanwhile, Mrs. John King van Rensselaer argued that tarot had ties to gypsy culture, tracing its roots to Eastern influences. Each of these theories, while compelling, remains speculative and adds to the enigmatic history of tarot. The legend of the Serapeum and the gypsies' belief was that in ancient Alexandria, priests were fleeing with scrolls and gypsies were traveling across Europe. According to a fascinating narrative, a significant number of priests gathered to preserve the secrets and rites of Serapis following the demolition of the Serapeum in Alexandria. This story says that their descendants became the Romani, or gypsies, who brought valuable books from the Library of Alexandria that was on fire with them. Some even claim that the lost Book of Enoch, an apocryphal work rich with mystical revelations, was one of these writings. Whether based on myth or truth, this tale supports the notion that the gypsies carried with them their secret knowledge as they traversed Europe. Travelling in caravans in Tudor England was frequently treated with suspicion in Europe. Henry VIII criticised them for lacking any trade or craft and characterised them as outrageous individuals that call themselves Egyptian in his 1530 proclamation. He believed that they were a nomadic people whose practices deviated from accepted norms of society, which is why they were prohibited from entering England. The idea that the Romani were enigmatic foreigners may have fueled the notion that they held secret knowledge, possibly even the history of tarot. Christianity has long held a complex relationship with the idea of magic and divination. The Bible explicitly warns against engaging in sorcery and seeking knowledge from mystical sources. Passages such as Deuteronomy 18:10-12 caution against divination, stating that anyone who practices divination or interprets omens is detestable to the Lord. Deuteronomy 18:10-12 strongly condemns specific practices related to divination, sorcery, and communicating with the dead. It groups these activities with child sacrifice, emphasizing their severity in the eyes of God. Here's an analysis of its key components. Child sacrifice. The mention of burning one's son or daughter as an offering references pagan rituals where children were sacrificed to deities. This was strictly forbidden in ancient Israelite law. Divination and fortune telling. These practices involve attempting to predict the future or gain hidden knowledge through supernatural means, which is presented as contrary to trusting in God's plan. Interpreting omens. This likely refers to seeking signs or supernatural clues about future events, something that was common in ancient pagan religions. The phrases sorcery, mediums, and necromancy refer to the use of magic, calling in spirits, and making an effort to speak with the dead. Such actions expose people to deception and spiritual harm, the scripture cautions. According to the scripture, these behaviors are odious because they turn away from God and put faith in supernatural beings that are not guided by God. Similarly, Leviticus 19:31 warns against consulting mediums and spirits. Church councils denouncing occult practices. Throughout history, the Christian Church has condemned tarot and other mystical practices as a form of deception. Despite this, tarot's imagery has drawn upon Christian symbols, such as the Judgment card, which mirrors biblical themes of resurrection and reckoning. Even today, the debate continues between those who see tarot as a neutral tool of reflection and those who consider it linked to forbidden knowledge. A standard tarot deck consists of 78 cards divided into two main categories: the major arcana, 22 cards. These cards represent major life events, spiritual lessons, and archetypal forces. Some well-known cards include the Fool, the Magician, the High Priestess, and Death. The minor arcana, 56 cards. These are divided into 4 suits: cups, wands, swords, and pentacles, each containing 14 cards, ace through 10, plus 4 court cards, page, knight, queen, and king. These cards represent everyday experiences and personal challenges. Many occultists, particularly those associated with the Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn, connected the tarot to the Kabbalistic Tree of Life. Each major arcana card was linked to a specific path on the Tree of Life, reflecting spiritual evolution and divine wisdom. The process of alchemy, transmutation from base matter to gold, parallels the spiritual journey depicted in the tarot. The Fool's journey through the major arcana is often seen as an alchemical transformation of the soul. The tarot embraces principles from the Hermetic tradition, particularly the concept of as above, so below. The cards serve as a microcosm reflecting universal truths and human experiences. One of the most controversial aspects of tarot reading is the presence of the Devil card, which often causes concern among those unfamiliar with its symbolic meaning. In tarot, the devil does not necessarily represent Satan, but rather themes of materialism, temptation, bondage, and illusion. It is often interpreted as a warning against negative influences, addictions, or unhealthy attachments, rather than direct devil worship. However, some esoteric groups, including the Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn, have been accused of engaging in occult rituals that some critics associate with dark or demonic forces. While the Golden Dawn was primarily focused on spiritual enlightenment, ceremonial magic, and Kabbalistic teachings, certain elements of their practices, such as invoking supernatural entities, led to accusations of devil worship. One of the most well-known and controversial figures associated with the Golden Dawn was Aleister Crowley. A prolific occultist, Crowley initially joined the Golden Dawn in the late 19th century, but quickly became a divisive figure due to his unconventional beliefs and practices. He eventually broke away from the group and founded his own esoteric tradition, Thelema, which incorporated elements of ceremonial magic, mysticism, and tarot. Crowley's association with the occult and his self-styled title as the Beast fueled accusations of devil worship. His Thoth tarot deck, developed in collaboration with Lady Freda Harris, remains one of the most influential tarot decks, incorporating deep esoteric and Kabbalistic symbolism. Although many tarot readers use the cards truthfully, some have taken advantage of their mystery to make money. Claiming to be psychics, con artists trick innocent individuals into paying for readings or continuing spiritual work to lift curses. Fraudulent scams have sprung up with the popularity of online tarot readings, charging outrageous prices for generic, computer-generated interpretations. When getting a tarot reading, skepticism is crucial because there is still a thin line between sincere advice and dishonesty. Humanity has always been captivated by the unknown and the possibility of glimpsing into the future. The tarot, with its rich symbolism and deep esoteric ties, continues to serve as a tool for those seeking guidance and enlightenment. Yet, with such intrigue comes the need for caution. While some see tarot as a gateway to wisdom, others warn of its potential to mislead and invite forces beyond our understanding. Whether embraced as a mystical instrument or approached with skepticism, tarot remains a subject of fascination, shrouded in both wonder and warning. The mystical allure of tarot can easily become a deceptive trap, leading individuals down a path that may blur the line between insight and manipulation. Whether one believes in the power of tarot or approaches it with skepticism, it is essential to remain vigilant. The pursuit of hidden knowledge must never come at the cost of spiritual well-being. Those who seek wisdom must tread carefully, discerning between enlightenment and illusion, for not all that glimmers in the shadows holds the light of truth. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video and found it interesting. If you did, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. It really helps the channel grow and allows us to keep bringing you more fascinating content. Your support means the world to us. Take care and see you in the next one.